Number 15. Our list begins with Xenia Ignatyeva, who took a selfie while standing on a bridge 28 feet off the ground. Why? Well, that's the most important reason to take a selfie in the first place. You already know the answer: to impress her friends. What else? The 17-year-old Russian girl at one moment suddenly lost her balance and fell on a cable. The most disturbing part of this tragedy is that the cable literally electrocuted her. All that was left was a photo of a smiling girl who had an entire life waiting for her before she decided to take her last selfie. Number 14. Jojo Tsai was a pretty 20-year-old Chinese girl who took a selfie at the very top of a tall building. She was able to upload it to her Instagram profile only a couple of minutes before throwing herself over the building's edge. Again, we have to ask why. What could be the reason to end a young life in such a tragic way? According to unofficial sources and numerous social media postings, it turns out that a heartbreaking split from her boyfriend was the emotional trigger behind it. In one of her last postings, she wrote, "I never thought that you would deceive me, but I still can't stop loving you. After I'm dead, I will haunt you day and night. I will never be apart from you again." We can't tell for sure if her ex-boyfriend keeps her last photo with him all the time. In addition, if you hear a scary story about a ghost girl from China, don't be surprised. It seems that we're witnessing the major change of rules. Not so long ago, the tragic souls who decided to end their current miseries by killing themselves used to leave suicide notes. Now some leave a selfie. Number 13. There's nothing wrong about making a decision to take a selfie on an airplane, right? Who doesn't like taking selfies while traveling? Right again. However, there's something spooky and disturbingly diabolical about what happened next after this infamous selfie was taken. These two were amongst the tragically killed victims of Malaysian Airlines' notorious flight MH17. All we know is that this plane was shot down while flying through the Ukrainian airspace by a missile. In a strange way, this picture has become a recognizable symbol, and with no exaggeration, a true synonym for this plane's tragedy. Number 12. Sylwia Rajchel was an ordinary 23-year-old girl with a strong desire to take selfies in unusual places and under extraordinary circumstances. This time, Sylwia, a Polish medical student, decided for her newest and unfortunately last selfie to include stunning images of an eye-catching bridge. While taking the selfie, she fell from a 15-foot bridge. This poor girl was visiting Seville, Spain. As expected, she just couldn't resist paying a visit to the famous Puente de Triana bridge. This is the place where she stopped to take this photo. She was actually balancing on the ledge when she fell to her sudden and tragic death. Number 11. On April 26, 2014, a young and cheerful Courtney Sanford posted her picture while singing to the extremely popular Pharrell Williams song Happy. The trouble was, she did while driving through North Carolina in her car. A couple of seconds later, she crashed her car into a truck. This tragic accident proved to be fatal for her. To this very day, it remained unknown what the reason was for her to lose control while driving, yet we're pretty much convinced that she was more concerned about her selfie than her safety. The moral of this story just couldn't be more obvious, could it? Don't drink and drive, we all know that, yet there's an additional rule we have to include as well. Don't drive, sing songs, and take selfies all at the same time. Number 10. Meet Collette Moreno and Ashley Theobald. These two were on their way to Colette's bachelorette party, which took place in Kansas City, Missouri. They thought it would be a great idea to snap this selfie. However, not long after this well-known shot was taken, a pickup truck hit the Chevy Malibu that they were in with all of its destructive force. Allegedly, the driver lost control of his car because a passing car emitted a lot of fumes, causing him to have a sudden asthma attack. This is really a disturbing incident, which gives you no choice than to think a lot about your actions while driving. Number 9. This selfie was snapped by a famous Puerto Rican artist and musician named Jadiel. He was able to upload this recognizable selfie to his Instagram account only a couple of moments before he suffered a fatal motorcycle crash in New York in 2014. It's definitely worth mentioning that this selfie had nothing to do with Jadiel's tragic death. However, we just can't stop asking ourselves, is taking a selfie right before you start a journey a bad omen of some kind? It's just like we're sending an invitation to dark, brutal, and deadly forces to pay us a visit and make sure it's the last picture we ever take. Number 8. Jenni Rivera was a famous 43-year-old singer and songwriter in Latin America. In this photo, we can see her posing for a selfie, which turned out to be her last one. She was traveling with friends after attending a show. Very briefly after they took the selfie, a plane crash claimed their young lives. It was a private Learjet, which flew specifically for this occasion. Unfortunately, all 7 people on board quickly died. The crash proved almost no chances for survival because the plane was nosediving at more than 700 miles per hour at one point. Undoubtedly, this was an unusually violent incident even for the most extreme plane crashes. Number 7. In 2014, there was a disturbing report about an 18-year-old named Kelene Guiterrez who tragically died after attempting to make a selfie while hanging from a door inside her bathroom. Yes, you heard that right. The story goes that this teen was a huge fan of taking selfies in unusual and quite outrageous places. This also includes a bathroom door of all places in the world she could have chosen. Allegedly, she posed on a door, fell, and violently struck her head on the toilet. The head injury caused her death because of the angle and devastating force of the blow itself. You don't have to worry. There's no way you could experience the same if you happen to slip in your own bathroom. However, this poor girl was challenging her bad luck in the worst possible way. Number 6. Our next story about deadly selfies includes a 21-year-old guy named Oscar Otero Aguilar who lost his life when he allegedly tried to take a selfie with nothing less than a gun. He was eager to take a picture with this gun for his Facebook profile in July of 2014. This Mexican gun lover accidentally shot himself in the head while taking the picture and sadly didn't survive. The story really sounds like any selfie enthusiast's worst nightmare. In one hand you're holding your camera, while in the other hand there's a gun. You plan to only use one of them, but the next thing you know, both things shoot. Number 5. On June 8th, 2014, India experienced the terrible Bias River tragedy. One of the most devastating and shocking consequences was associated with the 24 young engineering students and their local tour guide who were washed away after a massive and sudden release of water from the Largi Dam in the area of the Mandi district in India. To add to the misery for the victims' families and friends, this selfie of the cheerful and happy-looking group was all that was left of them before the tragedy was triggered by the giant wave of released water. What an unimaginable waste of so many young and promising lives. This is so terrible. Number 4. The shocking selfie death story is an illustrative example of just how dangerous things can really be in the Middle East. Mohammed Shaar and his friends were ordinary guys who had posed for the group selfie photo when just a couple of seconds later a car bomb, which is originally designed to kill a high-ranking local politician, killed them all instead. The incident actually took place in Beirut, Lebanon in 2014. As you can see, they were just a couple of young people enjoying each other's company and nice weather. Who could have thought that this would be the very last thing they did together in their lives? Number 3. The story includes a 13-year-old girl with the name Karen Hernández who actually wanted to make a selfie on the banks of local El Tunnel River in the area of Durango, Mexico. Unfortunately, she accidentally fell into the river and drowned. The firefighters were able to recover her bodies only a couple of days later. To this very day, it wasn't quite clear what went wrong in this situation. As you might have expected, there were quite a few speculations and rumors circulating amongst the locals and Karen's school friends. However, none of them could provide an acceptable explanation for this tragic incident, which claimed the life of this young girl. On the other side, there's something about nature that intrigues us to take eye-catching selfies near the shores, and especially around bridges. Do we really want people risking their lives just to take a cool picture? Number 2. In March 2014, a selfie photo was all that was left of a 21-year-old man who died in Jaén, Spain. Why did this story take the number 2 position on our list? Well, this poor guy really wanted to take a special selfie. This is why he climbed onto the top of a moving train to take it. This is definitely an extreme choice when it comes to selfies, isn't it? Can you believe this guy was literally electrocuted while attempting this? Where did he get this crazy idea to jump on a moving train? Maybe it's about time to do something about the overwhelming selfie mania, which claims more and more lives all over the world. A simple picture of an average smiley face is just not aren't good enough. Your friends and loved ones are pushing you to go further all the time. Nowadays, you really need to do something crazy in order to impress your friends, even if it means to jump on a moving train. Number 1. Here's our top story from the list. However, we can't say it's a winner. Unfortunately, there are no winners on this list. Each and any of these people on here paid the ultimate price for his or her obsession with taking selfies. Yet we just didn't want to end this list in dark and depressing tones. We don't want to leave you thinking about the disturbing and shocking 14 deaths which left scary reminders after them. So how do you feel about a survival story for a change? These are 2 young girls who got their rare and priceless second chance. But let's see what they did with it eventually. They were 2 lovely and young Iranian women who were singing along to a song while driving. Sounds familiar? So what happens next? Well, these girls were occupied with the song on their car radio, including the additional activity of taking a selfie. So it was no surprise at all that all of these distractions caused them to crash. Luckily, both of them survived. Now the most logical thing for you to think is that these lucky girls learned their lesson. Oh boy, you're so wrong. They're obviously helpless selfie addicts. Why? Well, they even posed for both an ambulance and a hospital-based selfie afterwards. Can you believe it? After all they'd gone through, they had to take one more selfie. Seriously? How crazy would you have to be to do such a thing? Got an idea for a top 15 video? Be sure to submit it at top15s.net/submit. Be sure to subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching.